It's a library, so we're currently being quiet.
Sorry, lady, we're just waiting for the rest to finish with the rest and then we can have it and we can start. Yeah? Thank you.
expiring.
book. just a feature chat while we have it, so you can share a whole lot of experience at the end of the day.
I'll let them know now. We're ready for you. We can make our way inside now.
So, according to your lines, please.
No, this is the community room.
Chaperones, you can take a seat in any way you want.
Welcome everyone. Come on in to see the seat.
Anybody else outside with them?
Mojeko, welcome everybody. Before we start, if it's all right, Miss Pacific Islands, if you can just open your visit in a short prayer.
Let's all be conscious of God's presence with us. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day. We thank you for the warm welcome for the staff here at USP, and we thank you for the sunshine and everything that we have encountered today. Now we're at the campus that gives knowledge to every student that walks through the door, and we ask that everything that we gain from here today may contribute not only for us but to the wider Pacific and everyone that watches online and offline and everyone near and far. We thank you, Lord, for this day. We offer this program into your hands. We make this prayer in no other name, but in the mighty name of Jesus we pray. Amen.
And welcome everybody. A heartfelt welcome to Miss Pacific Islands 2024 and contestants. It is with immense joy and honor that I, Felicity Cannon, Acting Campus Director for the USP Nauru campus, extend a warm and gracious welcome to each one of you to our small island nation, Nauru. As we gather in celebration of beauty, talent and cultural diversity, it is a pleasure to host this prestigious visit that not only showcases the grace and intelligence of the Miss Pacific Islands contestants, but also promote unity and understanding among our Pacific nations. To the stunning contestants, your journey to this stage represents not just personal achievements, but testament to the rich tapestry of cultures that make up our Pacific community. Your grace, intelligence, and commitment to your respective islands inspire us all. We are privileged to witness the unfolding of this pageant that transcends the boundaries of beauty and embodies the essence of the Pacific spirit. This event is not just a competition, it is a celebration of our shared heritage, traditions, and the strength that comes from unity. As we embark on this exciting journey together, let us embrace the diversity that defines us, celebrate the unique stories that shape our identities, and unite in the spirit of friendship and solidarity. May these pageants be a memorable experience for each participant, and may it foster lasting connections that will strengthen the bonds among our Pacific nations. On behalf of the USP Nauru campus, I extend our best wishes to Miss Pacific Islands 2024 and all the contestants. May your time here be filled with joy, camaraderie, and unforgettable moments. Welcome to the celebration of beauty, culture, and the extraordinary women who embody the true spirit of the Pacific Islands. Matabaka. Before we continue, I'd like to introduce the Nauru campus staff. I think they are a bit shy. I don't think they have a speech prepared, so I'm just gonna call out their names and their position, and if they wish to say something, they will. Okay, for first up, Billy Lasifo. He's our IT support. Billy. Our finance assistant, Priscilla Grundler. Our cleaners, Susanna and Maria. Our librarian, Mona Lisa. Our Pacific Tape coordinator, Ms. Formosa Scott at the back. Staff, anything you wish to say? It's a very rare opportunity. Okay, we'll move on and introduce also our USPSA President and Chairman, Mr. Christopher Saliva, who will also introduce the rest of his USPSA. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you, Madam Director. I hope everyone is having a good day so far. I know it's been a lot for every one of you, especially you just finished your visit with Dima and the sun and the soil. So I'll try my best to keep it short and smooth for us, but we have air conditioning here, so I'll probably keep you for as long as I would like. As campus directors introduced me, I am Chris Saliva. I know we've seen each other a lot lately. My role here at USP is I was fortunate enough to be elected the new chairman for the University of the South Pacific Student Association. So for USP, we have two branches. We have the USB, who overlooks the staff and the administration. And then we have the other branch, who overlooks the student council and grievances and issues that they might have. And in Fiji last year, we held our council meeting, and then I was very fortunate enough to be elected as the chairman. So before, I used to take care of just one campus. Now I have to overlook at least probably 13 campuses more. Love that for me. Without taking any further of your time, I would like to introduce the USPSA Nauru team. So every campus has its own branch. I was the president for Nauru campus before I take on the new role of overlooking all the campuses. Can you please make your way to the front? Stand beside me. I have kind of forced him to say something. Love being the boss sometimes. He's These are my Fab Five, we like to call. Very busy people. I was like, please get off work. All right, so without further ado, I'll just hand the mic over to them and they introduce themselves and we'll go on from there. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, contestants, beautiful ladies of the front. My name is Shekma. I'm the president of the USP Students Association here in Nauru campus. We would like to welcome you, on behalf of all the students, we would like to welcome you to Nauru, first and mostly, and to our campus. My team, the money man here, our treasurer, Buckley. Sorry, we're a bit shy and nervous, but we'll get through this. And Kayla, and this is Ateva, our secretary.
We can't believe that you're in our community room, so just bear with us.
Exactly. So I would like to welcome you and just a little something to say, so I just don't stand here and waste more of your time. We're so happy to have you here, all of you. We feel fortunate and blessed to have all these beautiful ladies come in and for us to host you in our small country in Micronesia. As students of USP, we are here to sort of achieve our dream when we were kids. We want to be pilots, we want to be nurses, so this is the first step into getting that. I would say education is not only, how do you say it? It's not only by learning from school or from the qualifications and diplomas that we get, but I believe it's also from, as Pacific Islanders, it's from knowing where we come from and, how do you say it? Being resilient in everything. Like, as small countries, we have a big role to fill, especially as the beautiful daughters of the Pacific Island. And just a word of encouragement to you ladies. This is not the end of the journey. Whether you're whether you're more comfortable at home, you can flourish and grow and be the best wherever you're situated. You're in your community, you can be the best of who you can be or who you want to be. Career-wise, you can aspire to be whoever you want. Sky's the limit, let's say that. Yeah. So I would like to encourage you to be and enjoy your time here in Nauru. This is the best that we can. We've given you our best, and the best is always from the heart. So I hope you guys appreciate everything that we've done and enjoy your stay here in Nauru for the short while you're here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, we were going to do a tour and then come back and have our lunch and everything, but we think it's best that while we're sitting, we can just run through the whole program and then do our tour and then have our lunch. If that's okay with everyone. So this time, we were going to have two students, have them come in and just talk about their experience and what it's like to be here at USP, and of course, we just cannot believe the fact that the Miss Pacific Island and the contestants are sitting in our campus. Trust me, it's live, and our people in Fiji, our campus, they're all freaking out right now. Say hi. We're also freaking out here. Saying that, our students, too shy to come. But it's good that our members here are also students. And being the boss, it's very nice to force you to do stuff. So if I can please ask Buckley and Kayla again to please come and say a few words. talk about their experience as a student here in Nauru campus. Here in Nauru campus, every campus is different, we like to say. And your experience in Nauru is different from your experience in Suva, the Marshalls, Tonga. We have all different experiences. So I hope that when they talk about their experiences, you can take it with you. When you have that crown, fight for us, fight for our rights, and we hope you'll learn something important from us today regarding education here in Nauru. Yeah, thank you. Kayla?
First of all, good afternoon everyone and welcome to USP Student Campus. Thank you very much for coming here. My name is Kayla Darling Emu. I'm 19 years old and I work for Capella & Partner, which, as you might have known, is one of the major sponsors for the MPIP. But here in USP, I'm also part of the executive seating member for the Student Association. So my role there is to do decision makings and ideas. I also help to balance out the votes, and because there's 5 of us, we'll need to just balance out the votes. Sorry, I'm getting nervous. So my experience here in USP, I would say it was kind of a struggle, because when you're kind of new to university, straight from high school, and then it's your first year schooling in uni, you'll see a lot of adults. They're really working hard. They know how to study, and for you, you're just like, I'm just there trying to get a paper, but I don't really know how to finish my course. And I'm also like shy to ask around. So how I overcame that is just by talking to one person, which is my mom. And she's Formosa and Scotty. She works here in USP and also the coordinator. And so when I just ask her my problems very last minute, she's always there to help me out. And just that woman empowerment, and I wanted to share that with other students. So I'm really blessed to be schooling here in the University of South Pacific. Thank you very much.
It's a lot of walking here, so many rooms. Thank you, Kayla. So, of course, Bhakti was about to say some things in behalf of the male students here. But because of the time, I think it's best that I just quick it up so that we have lunch, because we know that you ladies have so much to do. I want to talk about first experience as a student here in Nauru campus, and then secondly, what our committee is aiming for. So when I first started, the experience here and the complaints that I got is not the lack of support, but it is what they feel. Of course, we have our rules and regulations, and without them, we can't really run an university. We have to go by the rules. For example, the minimum requirement for a face-to-face tutor, you need at least 25 students. Here in Nauru campus, we have many students, but there's only like 3 students who's doing this course, or 4 students doing this course. We can't really have, say, 100 students doing the same course at a time. It's just not how it is. And for context, we have about 300, 400 course registered students last year or something. Sorry about the facts. So here at Nauru campus, our students, 98.9% are employed. I mean, give or take. Basically, they work from 9 to 5, and then we have to schedule their classes so that they can have their classes after. But there's also a problem, because if you are a mother or a father, you come to school, you go to work from 9 to 5, and then after 5, you have to go and take care of your family. So what we try to do here is, when can we provide the time for them to study? You know, for example, you might see in our campuses in Fiji where students are always at the campus. That is not the case here. If this was probably another campus, you'll probably have students probably we will not have this room to have this because there's so much during the day that comes in that you won't have the space and the time. But straight after 5 p.m., people are fighting over rooms, the library is open, there's no spaces in the car parking, it's chaos after, which like the campus comes alive at night. It's like a nightclub, but for people who want a good future. You know what I mean? So by saying so, we, the University of the South Pacific Student Association, what we try and what we aim for is, our vision for this year is that to finish the line, to cross the finish line, whatever it may be, come hell, rain or shine, we are going to go to the finish line. And not just one, not just two, everyone must go and finish the line. Yeah? And also our association's mission is to provide a community. So sometimes the challenge is not getting them in, it's getting them to stay in the campus. So we feel a responsibility to be like their best friends. Once they enroll, we immediately feel like, okay, come here, bestie. We're gonna stay until we finish the line. And it's complicated sometimes because of course it's got a lot of challenge. Like for example, we've had a lot of initiatives. We've had a thing called Alumni Study Buddy. We've had something called Taxi Buddy. And we organize a lot of fun days, a lot of events so that the students are engaged and everything. So for the Taxi Buddy, you might know that Nauru doesn't have public transportation because it's so close, you're 2 minutes away from everywhere. And once you turn 16 or 18, you get a bike. So what's the point of having transportation when everyone has a ride already? But of course, there are some unfortunate ones who can't afford a ride and they just happen to be our students. And I think because they pay for their school fees, they don't buy a bike, which is fine, that's our problem now. So what my team did was, we did a thing called Taxi Buddy, where we make sure that we had about 5 or less students with a ride, and then we'll give out those drivers to the students and say, if you need a ride to come and study, call this number and then we'll pick you up. And then, of course, my association paid for that. It would be free because what's the point of offering and then they wouldn't. And I said, you know what, everybody better pass their exam because you don't have an excuse to not come and study here at USP. So that was for the public transportation. The Alumni Study Buddy. Remember I mentioned earlier that we need the numbers in order to receive the face-to-face. We do have like extra help and everything, but we thought, who better to teach you about the course you're learning than someone who actually already done it. So we reached out to our alumni. So many alumni here, 100 plus alumni here in Nauru who studied with us. And we reached out and asked them, would you please, do it for free? We'll give you a bottle of water and enjoy your free Wi-Fi. Don't the management if you didn't hear that. Of course, the bottle of waters and everything like that, and everyone is just in for the support. So we are also so grateful that we have created a relationship with the alumni to help out anytime we need. And a student called us last semester and said, I don't have a tutor because it's not the numbers and it's just a lot of time to catch up with having a family, having a job, full-time job, and then trying to work hard for your family. And we try our best to make sure that we are the ones who are able to come in and help and everything like that. So one other initiative before I take you out for the tour is we did this thing called the exam prep, right? So every new semester, for us here in Nauru, or in every other campuses, everything is online because it's a new technology. It's the best way to go. It's more affordable. But then some of our students are matured students and they're not really good with technology. They would have to log in, they would have to scroll, and by the time they get there, it's probably like 11 p.m. and they need to sleep. What my team and I did, we summarized the whole document and ran a workshop. So we run like a little workshop to how to study within 5 days. If you wake up and you realize, oh, I only have 5 days to study, this is how you do it. And so far, most of our students have really adapted to someone was saying, oh, you're just making them more lazy. And I'm like, you know what, lazy or not, they're passing and that's all that matters. We're crossing the finish line with that. Yeah, so little things like that is what my team and I stand for. we're trying to be like a shoulder that they can rely on. The staff here have done so much. As you can see, there's only limited of us with so much students and so much demand, but without working together and doing everything, we're gonna finish the line. So after this, I think it's important, if you wanna ask any questions for us, because there's so much information here, as you can see. It's a university, there's so much information. If you wanna ask us anything, I'll just pass the mic around. Do we have an extra mic, Billy, please? We'll just pass this around so that you guys can ask any questions so far from my department or anything you're interested in so far. We'll definitely answer those questions, because when we go out for the tour, there'll be more information to digest. Yeah, so I'll just turn this on. And I know you have your protocol with the contestants number, but just for more easier, we can go table by table. Only if you have a question. I'm not forcing you. Yeah?
Thank you, Chris, for sharing that informative knowledge with us about the University of the South Pacific, and I am a big fan of the work that you do here in Nauru as well as all across the Pacific. I guess my question is about studies and probably citation of Pacific scholars. How important is it at USP to try and cite Pacific scholars, and who's someone that you look up to in Pacific history in terms of academia?
Thank you. I feel like I'm in a pageant now. Thank you very much for that question. Thank you. That was a really good question. So for USP, we really acknowledge the use of our local Pacific scholars. So for each campuses, of course, we have our scholars here in Nauru. But we have our select few scholars that we always make sure that if we're looking for papers or we're doing research, we must look at our own people's ideas and thoughts before we dive into other scholars, of course. But to answer your next question about who I look up to, there's two people actually. The first one would be Beli Hauofa. I'm not sure if you've known of his work, Our Sea of Islands. It's a brilliant work. It created the idea that, so many people from overseas just look at us as, oh, it's like these little islands and everything. Beli changed that idea and say, no, we are a sea of islands because our resources can never be matched. And from then on, I thought, you know what, that's how it is. We might be small, we might be little sometimes, our little island may be small, but up here, we're so much more. And I believe that once we realize it and once we fully grasp that, no one is unstoppable. We are unstoppable, and that's just who the Pacific are. We're the biggest ocean, and we're the biggest up there as well. I hope that answers your question. Can I get my prize now? Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. I'm Miss Marshall Evans. Nice to meet you all. Before I ask my question, I just want to commend the staff, the students, especially the staff for all your hard work and dedication in empowering our students. So I'm just curious, you mentioned that there are over 300 students, because back home our USP has not only Marshallese students, but we also have students coming in from other Pacific countries. And I'm just curious, I'm wondering, are there any other students from other Pacific countries who travel here to attend the USP here? Thank you.
So thank you. Another great question. Thank you so much, judges. See, the great thing about USP is that the diversity of it all. We have different minds, different cultures, different traditions, all combined in one. And you might be thinking, why would someone come from Lautala or another country to study in Nauru campus? But some actually have because of the experience. Experience can go a long way. So right now in Nauru campus, we have students who are Samoan, Fijian. I'm from Tonga. We have, of course, a Tether and other countries who are, some of them are here for work, but they also take courses like with us here. So we really do promote diversity. It's the University of the South Pacific. So if you go to Lautala, you'll find probably all of the Pacific Islands there. Not as much as here in Nauru, where we only have a few. Yeah, thank you. Did I win something?
Ako Naoero mo, Mojako, good plugin Lugogata. My name is Hella Crystal Singer. I represent my land of the unexpected, Papua New Guinea. Before I ask my question, thank you, Acting Director. The USP SA, Fab 5, thank you so much. Now, just to put it into context, I was also in university. I had just completed my 4 years of study in one of our universities in Papua New Guinea called the Papua New Guinea University of Technology. In that campus, we had over 3,000 students, about 13 departments, and that covered engineering courses, science and technology. And I'm just listening to you talk about the initiatives that the USPSA had put up to accommodate or to cater for the students there. Back home, in the PNG Unitec, we had our student representatives stand at the SRS. They were representatives of all 13 departments to bring or to be a voice for the students in their departments. I'd like to just ask about your success rates, because you've spoken about all these great initiatives, and from your point of view, because Nauru and USPSA all over the Pacific have, or just in Nauru for that matter, have actioned it out. I just want to ask, what are your success rates, and if there's anything that I can take back home to my country to advocate for, to make the schooling life easier for the students back home in Papua New Guinea. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. PNG. To answer that question, I think it all starts with the people you're with. Like I mentioned before, our mission is to create a community where you feel you belong here. Because once you feel like Nauru campus is your second home, you're gonna wanna come here. Even though you wanna study, just come in, chill, look around. Some students actually come from home just to chill here, because when the home gets too much, this is like their safe place. And then that's when we step in. You don't have to study, they can just enjoy air conditioning and enjoy the Wi-Fi. So I think to answer that question particularly, it's the most important thing about going that way is creating relationships. Because of course, you know me and Ateda, we did not even know each other until we were here at USP, and now it feels like we call each other sisters. So, and sometimes I'm like, are you going to go study? She's like, no. I'm like, okay, fine. We'll go tomorrow. And like, that's how we go, you know? And sometimes we come here and we just have coffee, and we ended up reading notes and doing work. And we're like, see, that what makes it like work. It's the relationship. Like, you need to feel like you're safe, you're at home, you're being taken care of, and then everything else just follows by. Thank you. I'm really in a pressure right now with all these questions.
Thank you so much. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge the facilitators and the staff who have worked hard to bring this university where it is today. Your patience is truly unmatchable. And I've been really inspired since Director shared her address, and now you're sharing everything and answering our questions. It's truly inspiring. It gave me goosebumps. And one thing that always stands out for us Pacific people is our resilience. And I really also like the context of calling this a nightclub of knowledge. So that's amazing, because learning doesn't stop. You can go to school anytime, anywhere, any day. And here it shows that school doesn't start from 8 to 5 in the afternoon. It starts also in the night after hours. So that's really inspiring. So if you can do it anywhere else in the Pacific, small or big, we can do the same. So my question is, since your establishment in 2018 till now, you got a good number of students. So what was the challenging factor at the time, and what was the strategy you used to really encourage students to come and apply and take courses here?
Thank you. I think our staff can elaborate more on that as well with regarding to marketing, but particularly from my end, the initiative that makes them feel like they're being taken care of. We've had students calling us and telling us, oh, the library is closed, but I want to read, I want to get my book out. And I said, okay, we'll see what we can do with it. And I know that what they did, they managed to open the library for like longer hours. So now it's open from 10 a.m. till 10 p.m. But before it was just 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. So little things like that, that once they come to you with their needs and wants, they need to be able to know that, you know what, either way is to provide for them. Because imagine, they come and say, oh, our library's closed, what can I do? And we say, oh yeah, come tomorrow. That's both discouraging and it's not something you would want to hear in a moment of stress. So we're trying, like I said before, we're like a shoulder you can cry on or lie on. We'll do our best. Some of the stuff that we've got, we're not able to solve it. But we are moving forward, we're improving by the day when we're doing our best to make sure that you know, what we do ensures that the students are taken care of, because once they feel they are taken care of, they can stay, they'll get more friends to come in with them and enroll, and we just grow by the day like that. Yeah? And to the finish line, of course. Thank you.
Naoero, directors, USP staff, thank you so much for hosting us. Thank you so much for all that you've done for Nauru. Personally, I spend a lot of leisure time here as well, as Chris has said. It's a very homey environment. Unfortunately, I wasn't a student, so I was only limited to the library, but that was a lot for me to be in a comfortable space. Just for context as well, I realized that the Nauru Secondary School is very close to the USP campus, and my question is in regards to a comment by Kayla. She mentions how for her it was a transitioning and seeing a lot of the older students, and you mentioned on several occasions how most of your students are of the older category, the mature category. So how have you done any activities on helping the students, especially from the Nauru Secondary School, to transition to be made aware and made comfortable in this environment? Because as you said, you need the numbers. So we know that a lot of the students right after school, they go straight into work, but how is your program in order to encourage them to come straight into USP as well as work, if that's what your goals are, to increase your numbers?
Oh, thank you, Kayla. Thank you, Ms. Nauru. I was thinking of Kayla's, what did she say again? So I could answer the question properly. As you know, they're just right beside us. So where are they gonna go? They might take that side, but take this side, but this is too small for them to run away. So one way or the other, they'll definitely come by. But of course, the USP branch, admin here, we always do activities for them. So there's always like information session where not only we get the students in, but we get the parents to come in and hear what we have to offer and their options and everything like that. And usually for my side, because I can talk more on that, when we do our fun day, we encourage our students to bring their family. Usually for some other campuses, I believe it's just for the students, they have their socials and stuff. Our here is, you can bring your family, because that's when we come in and we're like, enroll. You know, yeah, I hope that answers your question for now. And thank you.
Ali, and good morning. Good morning to the USP staff, and good morning to you again, Chris.
Good morning.
I'm asking you a question, so I don't know why I'm nervous.
It's okay, we can be nervous together.
I'd just like to say, I really admire the work you do here. Hearing all the efforts is so inspiring. Hearing all the care you put into taking care of your students and the studies. My question is concerning the courses. I'm just wondering what courses you offer. And back home, we have something like priority courses so that students abroad can come back for the development of the country. And I was wondering if you have anything similar.
Yeah, so here in our campus, when we, if it's okay with Madam Director, can I just answer this question because it's more on their administration? Yeah, I can. Okay, so so with USP Nauru campus, we have two courses that we really prioritize. One is called UU 114, where it's like English for academic purposes. And then we have a course called UU 100, where it's like for technology, how to use the computer, like simple things. So when we get our students in, we encourage them, like, before you start taking all these courses and stuff, let's like give you a little briefer of how to use your computer again, a little tips and tricks, so that you don't waste your whole time typing up the whole thing when you can just do this instead. And of course, for the UE one, for the English, you know, knowledge is always better. If you know how to write an essay, you need a refresher and everything. We have courses to like reach you there. But regarding the courses that are prioritized here, for USP we have 6 schools. So we have School of Business and Management, we have School of Law, we have School of Science, we have a School of Pacific Arts, and of course the School of Education. I might be missing some, I'm not so sure. I've been far away from USP, as you know. I've been occupied with other commitments, but we do offer a lot of courses. And for context, before COVID, we had to fly over to our main campuses to finish our studies here. Some of our students would have to leave their families and go because of the expenses, because of the financing. They can't take their whole family, so what they would do is they would just finish. They wouldn't continue unless they have the finances in the future. So what we've done is, with the support of course, admin, government and everything, and because of COVID, that's one thing that was really beneficial for us here after COVID was everything was put online. So you can do a whole course, you can do a full degree. For example, you can do a Bachelor of Arts in Education online for 3 years, and you don't have to go to Fiji. You can stay here with your families and finish the whole thing, which a lot of our students, of course, you like the idea of flying and experiencing, but for our students who are married with children and everything, they prefer to stay here and be with their family. So I think that was one thing that was really good for us. Was not saying that COVID was good, but everything's got its pros and cons, and that was definitely a pro for us. Thank you. I really need a prize now.
Malo Lele and Kumar Jomo. First and foremost, I'd like to thank our Heavenly Father for allowing us to be here today and to learn more about education. I am Sitita Hamilton Lainuku, and I'm proud to represent the Kingdom of Tonga. My question first, as I've heard of you saying that because of work and the responsibilities of parents, you have to move the time to meet the needs of the parents and the students. So that means there are so many students that they are parents with the age. My question is, what is their motivation to come back to school as a parent, even though they already have so many responsibilities, but they are thinking of gaining more knowledge and further their education? What is the main motivation behind it?
Oh, thank you. I actually did talk with some of our students, and of course, most of them are parents. So I'll answer the question in 2 parts. The first part is how I personally cope with it. I may not have kids, but I do have a family at home who responsibilities as an older brother, as a son, and then I have my job, which is 9 to 5 sometimes, and then I have the USPSA job as well. And in addition to that, I'm also taking courses here at USP. So doing that all at times, sometimes it gets really rough. Sometimes I don't know which one to do first, even though everything is a priority. But what me and my team, my Fab 5, what we joked about was this thing called ASAP. Submit and pass. Whatever happens, you submit an assignment and just make sure you pass. And you can bring that home. If your parents say, wash the dishes and go and do something else. That's all that matters, right? But the second part of my answer was, I actually did talk with one of the mothers, and she was voicing out how the responsibilities and everything was really in the way, and she's second guessing it, and I'm like, you know what, I realized you told me this story 3-4 times now, and yet you're still going. What's keeping you in? Because I myself, what is it? And they said, her answer was, it's different when you have a family. That's all she gave me. And I said, oh, can you explain more? She said, once you have a family, you'll understand. She said, you wake up in the morning and the first thing in your mind is, my family, children, my husband. Are they going to eat? Are they going to school? How are they going to school? Will they have lunch? And as a mother, she believed that that was her responsibility. And we may have some emotional tears that day that were falling and everything, but I hope that answered your question. In that context, it's definitely family. And of course, we know how we Pacifica people is. We may say this is a priority, but at the end of the day, our priority is our family. Thank you. Final question.
Salamalala, Chris. Good afternoon. My name is Judy Papitai Tamu. I am your Miss American Samoa. I would like to say thank you, Chris, for sharing everything that about the USP. Thank you for today. And my question, don't worry, it's easy.
Nice.
My question is, what is the average cost for or tuition for a student to attend the USP? And are there any financial assistance for the students to attend the USP?
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you for your question. Something I can actually answer without thinking. So here at USP, you can ask our finance office if you have any other questions. She'll be more specific. But here at USP, so when you say you're studying for a Bachelor of Arts degree, so a bachelor has 24 courses. So it runs throughout 3 years, I believe, and you have to pay for the course individually. So the standard amount is $250 to $350 per course. And you need to do the whole 24 courses. Saying that the university itself has a lot of financial options. We have something called bursary scheme, where the university offers to pay 50% to 70%, which I'm actually currently, they're paying for 70% of my courses right now. But of course, you have to put in the work before they can award this stuff. And then we have, in addition to that, the government with their scholarships and everything. And then we have our foreign aid, Australian government scholarship, the Taiwanese, all of those who did give in their support with funding some of the courses. Simple application, they're vetted, they're processed, and then you get a scholarship. So I hope that answers your question. I'm so glad that they're only, it's done now. So where's my crowd? I hope that answers your question. I really wanted you guys to really understand how do we go from here? What is the experience as a student in a university in Nauru campus in the uni here? Because there's so much stuff that goes on. There's, it takes a village to raise someone, and we're trying our best to make sure that we contribute and we put in the work for our fellow Pacifica students, for Pacifica people, because at the end of the day we don't have no one else but ourselves and our people. So I really hope that that was informative to you, to everybody else, and that it gave you an idea and some experiences, some knowledge and some inspiration, so to speak, about what we do here and everything else. Yeah.
And our online audience can go to your website.
And the online website marketing. I didn't think of that, did I? We do have a website that you can log into, and there's so much information there. After this, we'll do our tour. If our director won't have anything else to say, you can see we do have some gifts for you. Not from my budget, I don't have that much, but it is from USP. So we hope you enjoy your time here. I look forward to showing you guys around, and of course, lunch. So I'll take it from here, I'll give it to our director, and she'll continue on. Thank you.
Thank you, Christopher. What better way to understand the university than from the eye of the students themselves? Christopher's been here for a while, as you can see. Has a lot of roles, and now he has the chairman for USPSA title. So that's his title, not a crown. He's really exceeded throughout his studies here with us. So if I could just call our finance officer, and we can just give you our gifts for USP. And then from there you could give them a tour. All right.
So if you, with all due respect, I'll just call out your names and then you can come and receive your gift from our director. Miss Pacific Islands.
Yay!
Miss American Samoa. Miss Tonga. Miss Palau. Miss Nauru. Miss Papua New Guinea.